Hello. So, okay, hello. Hi. So I don't see much reviews on Miley Cyrus's new album, Something Beautiful, online, and I really want to share my thoughts. This is like not my first YouTube video, but I definitely don't know how to do all the fancy editing with like playing the song here. But if my future self figures it out, cool. Thank you, future Mila, if you figured it out. If not, then we're just gonna do this old school style, okay? I mean, I can edit, all right? I can take things out and whatever, but all that fancy schmancy stuff, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, so I just came home from watching the movie that she just released of her album, and it was so much fun. I went alone because none of my friends like Miley Cyrus, and I really wanted to go with someone who's a fan, because it's just you appreciate it in a different way, right? Okay, so first of all, fit check, okay, for my girlies. Okay, this is what I wore. So I tried to match the vibe as best I could with what I had without having to go shop for more. But I had this cute little skirt with like flowers on it. And I don't know if this skirt, I mean, it's like tacky, because it's two different prints, two different fabrics, but I don't know, I like it, okay? And I think this one maybe fits the vibe the best because it's a silky kind of like material, and I feel like the colors in my makeup, the gold and the like bluish silvery color, and then I put a little bit of that turquoise in the corner. I feel like that and this and these necklaces kind of give that vibe that Miley has in her music videos and in the album, because she's like kind of like sparkly and iridescent, right? So yeah, this was my attempt to that, because of course I'm gonna go all out and dress up to go to the movies, okay? And yeah, also shout out to one of my students, you know who you are, but she made this ring and I absolutely love it, and I bought it from her. And then she gave me this freaking necklace. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. My students who make art, they don't have an Etsy shop or anything, but I keep encouraging them to like make a shop because they're so talented. And yeah, so there's that. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Prelude. So I'm not gonna go through every single song, but I'm gonna go through the songs that I love every single song. But I'm gonna go through the songs that really just tugged at me. Okay, so yeah, so she started off with Prelude, okay? And this is kind of like a little intro. Okay, and also when I first started listening to this album, before I saw any of the visuals and the videos and stuff that she has, I was like, this is so cinematic. I feel like is she gonna play this? I don't know. The fact that she had prelude and interlude 1 and 2 without like words in every single one of those songs, sounded like to me she was kind of like preparing for a cinematic piece, and then I realized, oh wait a second, she is. That's so cool. I love how she did that. So Prelude kind of introduces you to the whole album, right? Then we got Something Beautiful, and that's a beautiful one. Okay, and then we have End of the World, More to Lose, Interlude 1. Then we got Easy Lover. That one is fun. Okay, so the thing I love all the songs, okay, by the way, but I love Easy Lover because if you like look into her lyrics, I just love what she's saying. She's admitting that you're not that the guy or whoever, the woman or whoever her partner is not an easy lover, but it's worth it to her, and I love that. And just that whole vibe of that song, it's a little jazzy, it's a little groovy, it's a little funky, a little bit like a little has like some soul into it. And then we go into interlude 2, and then the whole vibe starts to change after that. Like after that section, right? And there was another guy, I'm gonna link him in the description box, but I saw his analysis, and I totally understood what he was talking about. I was like, dude, I get you. When I was in the movie theater, I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, so the second half he was saying, and that's totally what I think too, is that it's kind of like a nightclub vibe. And if you see the movie, there's like scenes to kind of depict that too. The album movie. And yeah, so Golden Burning Sun, I love that song. So she talks a lot about surrendering. And I think the big theme of this album is that is in this latter half of the album. I think that the big theme is growing, healing, growing through the pain, and surrendering and remembering that you're beautiful, like inside and out. And that's what really got to me. So then Walk of Fame, that's a fun one. She's like owning it. She's so confident, right? And then Pretend You're God, that's a really good one too. So that one really got to me because she's talking about how he's missing, um, picking up his clothes off her bathroom tiles, how she ignited this fire within him, and in every flame in burning desire, every color in the flame of burning desire. Um, I love her lyrics, yeah, and I can relate so much to this song. I mean, all of these songs, but this one really, I can really relate to this song, and I don't know, I just loved it. Um, every girl you've ever loved. Okay, so she's like, I look hot even though my hair's a mess, right? I love that. So she's like kind of going through a metamorphosis in that second song, or Pretend You're God. She's going through a metamorphosis, and in that second song after that, Every Girl You've Ever Loved, she's like coming out of it and remembering her worth. And then Reborn, she's like talking about how we're, if heaven exists, I've been there before. I think what she's talking about is like literally she's talking about reincarnation, but lyrically and metaphorically, I think she's talking about healing and kind of, yeah, transforming yourself into a better version of yourself. And then Give Me Love as a last one, like she really did Miley did really talk about how much this album is about how she wants to be loved just like everybody else in the world. And yeah, so the reasons why these songs got to me so much is because I could like feel her pain, especially in the song Pretend You're God. If you get the chance to hear that song or see that song in the movie theater, um, dude, she was like, she was really showing her emotion. Like she was really like I could feel the sadness and the grief in her eyes, and she was like crying, like I don't know, so expressive in her face, and I just loved it. And there were so many songs that I swear brought tears to my eyes, which is nothing new for me. I'm a big, 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 big crybaby. I'm a Scorpio, so I don't know. Yeah, but I love it. I loved it so much. And then Reborn, I think, is my favorite song on the album. The other guy I'm referring to in this video that did the analysis too, he like I don't think Reborn was his favorite, but it's my favorite. I totally like it. I love the retro vibe to this entire album is amazing, and I love the retro vibe in Reborn because she's like, if you hear it, like it kind of starts off a little slow, but then it gets into this like disco-y vibe. There's definitely like influence from ABBA, and I don't know, she even referenced McCartney with a little help from his friends in one of the songs. Forgot which one now at this point, but yeah, I love the disco vibe to it. I love the retro vibe to it. I love there's almost like a film noir part of it in one of the songs. Which one was it? Was it Every Girl You've Ever Loved? Well, it's that one where she has this like, they're almost like black pantyhose. I don't know. Like it's like a mask over her half of her face, and she has like red lips, and she's wearing black, and there's all this like smoke in the background and like a wet street, and I don't know. It gives me film noir vibes, and she really has a very cinematic effect in her album, and yeah, it just got to me so much. And the fact that she's so relatable, but she's a celebrity. She's just like everybody else. She's just like all of us. And yeah, it felt like a very vulnerable album, very vulnerable movie that she posted. So one other thing I'm going to say is that I think a lot of people are going to misunderstand her message of what she's even talking about in her songs and how she filmed this. You can see in the credits that she was the director and the producer, and she was the writer of the songs. So I think I was wondering to myself, like, who directed the dance moves and the choreography and like the cinematography, and like who decided to do all the movements that she's doing, And I think she did for a lot of it. And I think people are going to misunderstand that, because when you see this video, I don't know, man. I don't think she made this for the male gaze at all. I think she really made it for the female gaze. And if you know what I'm talking about. Like, there was a lot of beautiful shots of her close up and like all these sensual shots that I feel like people are gonna give her so much flack for, as they always have for her entire life. And anytime a woman does anything, they're gonna get mad at us for that. And I just loved every scene where she did what she wanted to do. You can clearly see the joy in her eyes throughout the whole movie, and the pain in her eyes throughout the sad songs. But there, like, whenever she was singing about a happy, healthy, joyful, peaceful love that she's experiencing, she radiates it in her eyes, man. And I feel like you can't fake that. Yeah, so I really loved feeling her emotions through the songs and seeing her emotions through the songs and how authentic it felt to how she feels through whatever chapter she just went through where she wrote this album and released it. And I know that some people are always like annoyed that she says things like, in my previous album I wasn't really true to myself, but in this album, then now this is the real me. And I'm like, you guys are, why would you get mad at that? We all evolve a million times. We all change all the time. Not everything that you like now you will always like now, and our likes and preferences and opinions change all the time. So I really feel like this album, she went through such a metamorphosis, like a spiritual one. Says the Scorpio in me. And I loved every single song. Okay, in all her other albums, I usually like most of her songs, the majority of her songs. I don't always like all of them, but yeah, I mean, I loved every single song in this one. And yes, Miley, you are awesome, and I love the music that you make. Thank you so much for making all this music. And Miley Cyrus is someone that like makes me feel like I can really be my true confident self. You know what I mean? But I'm not putting like this, I'm not being like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that Miley Cyrus is really inspirational. And the fact that she's gone through so much of what we have gone through, what we all have gone through, really speaks volumes of the human spirit and how I think we're learning a lot of the same lessons in this lifetime. And if you pay attention, you can learn those lessons and heal and live the life you want and like have a better life where things align better. Or you just don't, and you repeat the same cycles and you stay in a cycle of misery in your mind, which reflects in your reality. I feel like that's kind of what she's talking about in this album. And yeah, I also absolutely love how she sang to her full vocalization, like power, capability. Because so many albums before, I feel like I'm like, oh, Miley, I wish that you I want to hear you like project more and stuff. And so she like, I feel like really used her vocal range. Oh, and I also loved how her vocal range is a little lower now, and it's just so beautiful, so much more attainable for me to sing with her, okay? Because I can't do the soprano and soprano 2 level, okay? But I can do the alto level and then sing with her in the car and I don't sound horrible. Yeah, so yes. Okay, that is my analysis of Miley Cyrus's new album. Hope you enjoyed listening to that. I hope I can get some other fans to comment below about your favorite songs and why they're your favorite songs. And if it got you kind of emotional like it did for me, because I was tearing up in that movie theater. Let me tell you, I should have brought some tissues, man. Okay, wait. I think I caught myself talking about one song while I was trying to talk about the other song. So when I was talking about Pretend You're God, I was trying to talk about the part where she's saying he's missing and like she's like really heartbroken about that. And I was trying to talk about what that symbolizes, okay? So there's that. And then I accidentally said, close off your tile, every color in the flame burning with desire, blah, 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 right? That part is from Every Girl You've Ever Loved, not from Pretend You're God, okay? And then what I was going to say about Pretend You're God is how I feel like that song brought up so much heartfelt pain in me, but also in her clearly. As you can see, she's like crying on screen and everything. I feel like that song "Pretend You're God" is symbolizing the rock bottom, the struggle, the utter pain that you're in when you go through a breakup, or even when you're in a relationship and you're just in so much emotional pain that you're like, this is not working and I need to leave. I feel like that is why that song represents her deep, massive transformation and metamorphosis. And then when she gets into Every Girl You've Ever Loved, she's dancing with the backup singer. I forgot her name. But then they hold hands. I love it. And like, you see that they're both dressed up very provocatively. And a man, or somebody else might say, anybody could say this. Anybody could be like, like they could just judge her for whatever what they could judge what she and the backups, like the featured singer, are looking like, but I love how they look. Oh my god, I loved that scene where they're walking and they walk away from the camera and they're holding hands, and it's just such a girls supporting girls kind of a scene, and I love that. That's one of the reasons why I love that song, Every Girl You've Ever Loved, and why it's after. I love the reason, and that's the reason why I love that song, Every Girl You've Ever Loved, happens after Pretend You're God, to show the transformation, how she's healed and she's coming back to herself, There's a lot of themes here. There's a lot of themes of insecurity, but also security, because she's always talking about, in one of the songs, she's talking about, do you still love me? I gotta know. Never mind. Like, she says, do you still love me? I gotta know. Never mind. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Like, I don't want to know. And I'm just like, oof, oof, oof. Do you still love me? Is that not the question we always ask the men? Is that not the question? Yeah. It's like that meme, would you still love me if I was a worm? That's all I wanted to edit. I do have one negative thing to say. I remember that Miley Cyrus was like answering tweets or some messages or whatever on her phone, and someone had asked her like, how gay is Something Beautiful? And Miley Cyrus was like, so gay, it's so gay. And I'm like, girl, where is it gay? You only held that girl's hand. That was totally like a platonic girl supporting girls, kind of like a moment. I don't know, I didn't really get any gay vibes from this. I got completely straight vibes, so that was kind of eh. Also, oh my god, the last scene, the part where, oh my gosh, I was totally tearing up, where she's like so in love with her boyfriend or her partner in the last song, and they're kissing, and like they're in the rain and her hair's all wet and everything, and then they're all like cuddling in bed, and she's like laying on a pillow, and then he gets up and leaves, and then she's like alone, and she's just like laying on the pillow and like looking at the camera, and I'm just like, no. You're alone. You ended up alone at the end of the album. Why did you have to be alone? Please. Where's he going? Did he just go get coffee? Okay, like, please tell me he just went to go get her a freaking cup of coffee and he's gonna be back. Oh my god. Yeah, anyways, so that, I feel like the fact that she ended up alone in that last scene, and she's not crying in that last scene, maybe symbolizes like, we all kind of end up alone anyways. In the end of the day, you are alone in your mind, like, you're alone. And you might have a partner, but like, it is us that's walking this journey. And now I think she's secure in herself because she's not crying. Maybe it doesn't symbolize him literally leaving the relationship, but like, because they didn't like fight or anything in the music video. I don't know. I'm looking into every single detail because I feel like every single detail means something, because it's Miley Cyrus, man. I feel like she has a vision, like in her lyrics, of what she, wants to see and like what she imagines. And as we know, she's so prolific with her creations. I love it. Okay, yeah, now I'm definitely done. That's it. Okay, bye. Thank you for listening.